my name is Kim.
Hi, nice to meet
It's
you.
nice to meet you. Before we get started today, I'm just going to remind you about the confidentiality clause. Everything that you say in this counseling session is confidential and private, so I can't share it with other people. However, I do have a duty to warn, which means if you say anything in the session that implies that maybe you're a threat to yourself or a threat to others, I would have to breach that confidentiality. Do you have any questions about that?
No.
No? So how was work this week?
It was frustrating.
How was it frustrating? What happened?
Some issues with my boss.
What happened with your boss?
She had planned a New Year's Day reception, and she sent out an invitation with an RSVP deadline, and I asked RSVP that I wouldn't be attending before the deadline, and then when I showed up to work about a week later, she had a lower level manager counsel me on why I should have attended her event, even though it was completely optional. And it really frustrated me that she had someone else talk to me about it instead of talking about it to me herself, if she was really that offended by it.
Okay, so you RSVP no, and when you didn't show up, you then got in trouble for it, and instead of talking with you herself, she had someone else talk to you about it and almost punish you for it. Is that correct?
Yep.
So how did that make you feel when she went and she had someone else counsel you for it instead of talking to you about it herself?
Angry.
Pretty angry. Well, there is an activity that I would like to do with you, because anger is usually a secondary emotion, and you've said once or twice that you feel angry, but usually there's some other feelings that kind of builds up to for you to express that anger. So right here I have an emotions inventory, and this is a list of different emotions that you might be feeling that might cause that anger. And this is your emotional percentages chart. I have an example right here for you. In my example, I said 50% anger, 25% resentful, 25% embarrassed. And right here, I'm going to have you do your graph. So you can choose any of the emotions from the emotional percentages chart that you feel, and I would like you to graph them on the chart so we can see the intensities that you feel them. You all finished?
Yep.
Okay, so you labeled that you feel defensive, you feel offended, frustrated, skeptical, and resentful. Why do you think you feel defensive?
Just feel like I did nothing wrong, and that I have to defend myself to prove that I did nothing wrong. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just I have to, in my own mind, I don't think I should be being punished, and I need to defend that reason, and I don't think I did anything wrong.
Do you think that you feel defensive because you feel that she should have said that it was mandatory on the invitation instead of giving you the option to RSVP no?
I mean, that's definitely something, but I just need to defend why I think I'm right in my own mind. I RSVP'd no, and I did it by the deadline, so I think I'm in the right.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think you feel offended? What made you feel offended?
That my boss boss is judging me on showing up to a social event at her house instead of judging me on how I work at work and my output at work.
Did you ever think of maybe speaking with her one-on-one and directly instead of speaking with your other coworkers about how you feel?
Yeah, but she doesn't have the most open door policy, and judging by, her not even being able to reprimand me herself and having someone else do it for her, just didn't even cross my mind.
Okay. Well, why don't we do a role reversal activity where we have kind of a mock conversation with your boss? You would be the boss in this role reversal activity, and I would be you. Do you feel comfortable portraying your boss?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay, so let's go back to the day that you first got in trouble and that you first got counseled by the individual below your boss. Let's go back to that day, and you would get started.
Brian, why didn't you show up to my New Year's Day reception?
I didn't show up because I RSVP'd no. I thought it was an option whether I can go or not.
Do you think you had things more important to do than show up to your boss's reception?
It's not that I thought there were more important things to do. I had other things to do, and I thought that it was an option whether I could go or not.
The invitation was sent out as a formality. You were expected to show up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize it was just a formality.
Do you not value your job and your chance to make a good impression on your boss?
It's not that I don't value my job. I just think my job is my job, and this event was a social event that wasn't required for my job.
In the future, I think you should put greater weight on events that I host.
Okay. How did that make you feel? What did you gain from that role reversal activity, from that conversation with your boss? Did you gain any insight as to maybe how your boss might have felt when you didn't show up?
Maybe my boss put some effort into it and was hurt that people didn't show up, but at the same time, I still think it's a little ridiculous that there was an invitation and an option to RSVP yes or no, yet she expected everyone to show up.
Okay. Well, maybe this conversation, do you think it inspired you to have a conversation one-on-one with your boss and kind of let her know how you feel and that you apologize that, she put all this work into the event, but, next time you just, you would appreciate knowing if it was mandatory?
Possibly.
What goals would you like to take from this counseling process? What would your ultimate goal be at the end of this counseling process?
To have a good working relationship with my boss and not let my anger towards her affect that.
Okay, and we can say that that's measurable because in a year or so you'll get a good evaluation from your boss.
Yep.
Okay, and what would you like your immediate goal to be? Something you can work on tomorrow in the office or sometime this week?
When I get angry with her, avoid talking bad about her to my peers or subordinates.
Okay. Yeah, and that'd be really good. And we can even work on something in counseling, in this counseling process, maybe how we can turn those, aggressive feelings towards this situation, towards your boss, into more, functional, positive feelings. Some techniques that you can use when you do get angry. And what do you think your immediate goal should be? I'm sorry, your intermediate goal. Something you can work on in between your immediate goal and your ultimate goal. Something in a few months that you can work towards.
Being able to control my anger so that I can actually focus on the work in front of me and not be like brooding over things that frustrate me.
Okay, and we can measure that maybe. How would you say we can measure that?
The percent of the workday that I'm actually able to accomplish my work.
Okay, so staying on task in your work. Again, maybe getting a good evaluation in that sense, or just getting, not getting sidetracked with your feelings per se. Well, it's really great to meet you, Brian. I had a really good time, and I look forward to the rest of the counseling process with you. Have a good day.